Hi, Right Writers. Cruz here. Thank you so much for joining me. In this video, we are going to be writing a 25-minute essay in an essay in 25 minutes of 160 words. Right, writers, I have already started my timer and I am already at 24 minutes and 36 seconds. So we are taking a prompt that we had used before, but this time we're taking the opposite position. So we're taking the counter argument. So I will review the prompt and then go ahead and construct the essay. In the meantime, I will also ask my ChatGPT 4 to create a response for this essay. And in the previous video, I attached the essay and sort of reviewed the essay with you all. But it was quite a bit longer, the video. So I'm going to really maintain the 25 minutes for this video. And then what I will do is I will have a PDF of what the Chat GPT created so you can see the difference in the response. Hopefully the Chat GPT 4 will follow through on the 160 words rather than giving a an essay with many more words. As again, if you had seen in the previous video, I think it came up with 288 words, which is not what I had asked for. So I will make sure that I share the prompt that I the input for the prompt in the AI and then share its results. But in the meantime, with 23 minutes remaining, right, writers, let's go ahead and take a look at the counter argument for this um, persuasive prompt. And it asks many science fiction stories today, or many science fiction stories, deal with the possibility of being able to design our children by choosing the specific physical and personality traits we would like them to have. Do you think this is a good idea? Why or why not? Use specific reasons and examples to support your position. So, in the previous video, I suggested that it in fact was a good idea. So, in this video, I am going to focus on why it is not a good idea. And notice, right, writers, how I am going to use the prompt to answer the prompt. So, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in quite a bit so you can see here what I'm typing. And so I'll put it at 150% in the zoom in. And what I'm basically going to do is the idea of the possibility, taking this, and again, even in the Oxford English test, you can still copy and paste material. So I don't feel like that's taking away from the time. And I'm going to go ahead and set up the end of my introduction paragraph. So the possibility of changing it slightly here, the possibility of designing our children by choosing their specific physical and personality traits seems like a terrible idea. Or maybe I should say, seems like a horrifying Frankenstein. And I'm going to make this a little bit different and say something like creates a horrifying Frankenstein-esque. I would like it to be one word, and so I think I'm just going to do something like this or something like this. Frankenstein-like dilemma. So this essentially, Right Writers, is going to be the end of my introduction. So I'm going to say something like end the introduction paragraph with the possibility of designing our children by choosing their specific physical and personality traits creates a horrifying Frankenstein-like dilemma. And so because I feel like I have more of an idea of where I'm going to go, again, if you think about Victor Frankenstein and he creates this creature, and that's pretty much what it's called throughout the novel, either creature or monster. It's Victor Frankenstein himself, who is the scientist who creates this monster or this creature. So in this case, again, I'm going to go with that idea, and I'm going to begin with something like, thinking about um, this science fiction like background. And obviously, we know this novel was written by Mary Shelley. And I'm trying to think of, Right Writers, a way to begin the paragraph. And again, the introduction is always the most challenging part, and it's with 18 minutes remaining, 18 minutes and 30 seconds. I've got a few minutes here to come up with an intro. So I'm going to take some quiet time here and see what I can come up with as I think and think aloud sometimes here. Um, Possibility of designing our children by choosing their specific physical or personality traits creates a horrifying Frankenstein like dilemma. Okay. I'm taking myself to a fast food and sort of picking and choosing what you want. Let's see. Having the parental power to queue up, having the parental power to queue up at a designer baby DNA, at a designer DNA, at a designer DNA baby chain, having the power to queue up at a designer DNA baby chain market. Instead of market, I think I'm going to go with store, at a designer DNA baby chain store. conjures up images of a dystopian future. Having the power to queue up at a designer DNA baby chain store conjures up images of a dystopian future. Imagine having, I've already said having, so baby chain store conjures up images of a dystopian future. Seeing parents watching parents as they preview the menu of options. As they decide what their baby should look like. Baby should look and watching parents as they preview the menu of options. As they preview the menu of options available to them. Watching parents preview the menu of options available to them as they decide how their baby should look and how their baby should act. Seems eerie, 10 minutes remaining, right, writers? Demonstrates how spooky. Okay, let's see where we are right now, right, writers? Then I'm going to go ahead and create a conclusion from this introduction. Having the power to queue up at a designer DNA baby chain store conjures up images of a dystopian future. Watching parents preview the menu of options available to them as they decide how their baby should look and how their baby should act demonstrates how spooky the world could be. The possibility of designing, indeed, indeed, the possibility of designing our children by choosing their specific physical and personality traits creates a horrifying Frankenstein like dilemma. And now I'm going to take this and I'm going to basically, actually, I'm going to take this last sentence, right, writers, and I'm going to make that the first sentence of my conclusion. And I'm going to say, change the transition word. Of course, the possibility, of course, of course, designing our children by choosing their specific physical and personality traits or maybe I'll say even Mary Shelley would have to agree, because again, she was the novelist of Frankenstein. So even Mary Shelley would agree. Science fiction writer, author, or novelist, Mary Shelley would agree that opens a possibility one cannot undo. And then borrow this part and make that as part of the ending. Watching parents preview menus at their local designer DNA baby chain store. How eerie the future could be. Okay, I'm seeing this, right, writers, with 5 minutes remaining to create a body paragraph. So, looking at this second, the conclusion, even science fiction novelist Mary Shelley would agree that designing our children by choosing their specific physical and personality traits opens a possibility, opens a dilemma. one cannot undo. Watching parents preview menus at their local designer DNA baby chain store demonstrates how eerie the future could be. Okay, so at this point, right, writers, I just want to do a quick word count to see how I'm doing. So I have 116 words, and it needs to be, again, we're trying to go for about 160 here. So I'm going to just minimize this just a little bit as we as I start to create our body paragraph here. So I'm going to go ahead and tab and create these indentions. Indent here, tab. Okay. For my intro and conclusion. And then here's my body paragraph with 3 minutes remaining. So this idea of, oh boy, okay, creates a horrifying Frankenstein-like dilemma. Who gave parents the right? Oh, let me think of expectant others. Okay, so I've got about 30 seconds remaining, right, writers? I feel like I need to give myself a little bit more time. And I'm at 161, but I am going to stop there because my timer is going to go off in now. So, okay, so I pretty much, I think I had right at 161. And let's take a look. Word count 161. And let's say I just took out hair color, I instead. Um, and just leave it at that at 160. I mean, I think that's fair because again, right, writers, I did just start the timer right away. The issue that I have is that my body paragraph really does not follow through on what what you could argue, right, writers, would be the theme of my essay. So, I've got ideas like a dystopian future. I have ideas like, again, word choice like spooky, dystopian future, horrifying, Frankenstein like dilemma. And then I have, again, I use the word dilemma and how eerie the future could be. But then in the center, I focus more on health and this idea of having a healthy baby, having a smooth, just easy delivery. And that, again, it seems unfair and unjust. The body paragraph just does not match what I've created at the introduction and the conclusion. However, I was still able to, one could argue, I guess, write at 161 words, write an essay in 25 minutes. Am I pleased with it? No. Did I follow the task? Yes. Did I stay on topic? Yes. But again, from a thematic standpoint, right, writers, I just do not feel like the body paragraph really flows well with the introduction and conclusion. Before we take a look at the paragraphs, just one at a time, and just, again, just reading the essay through, right, writers, I do want to say that, again, when you have a persuasive prompt, or if you're practicing persuasive or argumentative, it is really good practice to take both positions, because what will happen, right, writers, is you start to figure out that, wow, I'm actually good at always taking the opposite position than I am agreeing with the topic. Or maybe you may find that you do better when you agree with the topic. So, if you do more of these, more persuasive, and we are going to do many more persuasive topics or argumentative topics, you can begin to see your strengths and weaknesses as a writer. And so that way, when you're given a persuasive prompt, you don't even have to think about the choice. You already know, you know what? I do better at arguing against something. So that's what I'm going to do, or I do better to agree on what's already been stated. So I'm going to go that route. And that is why I like to take a both and approach, take both positions and see which one you are stronger at. So that's just a little piece of advice, right, writers, before we take a look at this again essay one more time, just from top to bottom, start to finish. And then please keep in mind, right, writers, that you will see a PDF document where you can download the Chat GPT 4 version for this essay prompt. All right, let's take a look at the essay. Having the power to queue up at a designer DNA baby chain store conjures up images of a dystopian future. Watching parents preview the menu of options available to them as they decide how their baby should look and how their baby should act demonstrates how spooky the world could be. Indeed, the possibility of designing our children by choosing their specific physical and personality traits creates a horrifying, Frankenstein like dilemma. Most parents agree that having a healthy baby is priority number one. Expectant mothers might argue that their biggest concern is a smooth and uneventful delivery. Saddling even more responsibility on them, such as deciding sex, hair color, and disposition, seems unfair and unjust. Even science fiction novelist Mary Shelley would agree that designing our children by choosing their specific physical and personality traits opens a dilemma one cannot undo. Watching parents preview menus at their local designer DNA baby chain store demonstrates how eerie the future could be. So, right, writers, there you have it, a 160 word essay in 25 minutes. Again, technically 161 with the removal of I for eye color. But overall, I'm okay with it. Is it my best work? No. Did I think my previous essay was better? Absolutely. However, it is great practice to see and examine and analyze your own strengths and weaknesses as a writer. Take care, writers. I hope you have a great rest of your week. See you again next Tuesday. And please check out the link located at the bottom of the useful links tab. And that way you can check out what the Chat GPT 4 came up with. All right, writers, take care. Love you guys. Thank you to my subscribers. We keep moving up about 4 subscribers a week, and that's awesome. Thanks again, writers. Love you guys. Bye bye.